Hey, it's Brew Dude Mike here. I wanted to show you guys the progress that I've made on the brew stand so far. Last week I had the basic structure put together and I had the burners in, and what I've worked on since then is putting the plumbing for the gas on there. You can see right up in front a couple control valves and the flexible stainless steel tubing that I'm using underneath it. Well, I'll zoom in and take a closer look in a second. When I purchased all the stuff, I thought I had bought 3 control valves. I bought the valves a couple years ago. That's when I was thinking of just building a 2-station stand. With my 3-station stand, I'm missing one, and I forgot that I didn't have one. So I have to order that before I get the whole thing plumbed up. But I have plumbed it all together, and I fired it up, and it works better than I expected it to work. So let's zoom in a little bit on one of these burners so you can see all the pieces and how I put it together. Okay, let's take a look. So here's the burner. This is the center burner on the rig. This is an older burner of mine from a previous cooker, and I bought 2 new ones. That's why those are silver and this one is not. But this one's mounted in the center, and what you can see here is I come off of here. This is in here you can't really see, is the orifice. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But I just go to an adapter bushing type fitting, to a nipple, to an elbow, down to another nipple, to this control valve that I have, a needle control valve, then to another nipple, a bushing, and my flexible stainless steel hose. This flexible hose is actually water supply hose. It is a stainless steel braid, connects back in the back where the black pipe is for the gas. So you can see along the back as I have an elbow there. I put a cap on it just so I could test fire. But I rigged up standard black cap for the propane, going to each one of my flexible tubing connections. And then over here I come around to the side to a brass flare fitting on the very end. And that black brass flare fitting takes the connector from the propane tank, which has got the regulator all the way back. So, alright, I want to show you what one of these propane orifice is all about. You probably have one of these already if you have a turkey fryer already in your thing. You have to have an orifice. See how it's got that small hole in the center? This helps act like a jet and shoots the gas into the burner. Depending on your application, would be propane or natural gas, the size of this orifice has to change. But one way or another, if you just pipe all of these type of fittings into a burner without an orifice, there won't be enough flow to appropriately mix with the air coming through the venturi here to get a good burn. You'll just get a white, gentle flame, almost like a candle burning, rather than a jet of clean blue flame. So you have to have one of these orifices. These burners, actually, when I bought them new, they came with orifices, and I had an orifice on this old burner. So it was just a matter of figuring out how to get from here to the black pipe back there. And I just went to my local Home Depot big hardware store, and I had these and just figured out how am I going to get from here to here, and then from here to here. So that's how it goes right now. Basically I used this water supply line because it was flexible and worked in the right sizes that I want. This is 1/2 inch. The only thing I'm concerned about at this point is that it is a vinyl tube in there. I don't know if it generates enough heat down underneath the burner that this could become a liability once it starts getting hot. So when I do my first fired up test run, which I'm going to do in a little bit to heat some water to clean out a potential keg for an HLT, I will get a sense for how hot it gets under there. And I might have to change this over to a hard line, like a copper line with a flared nut fitting on both ends here. So not a big deal, but I've already invested a little bit of money in these two flexible hoses. But we need to be safe with the propane, especially seeing how I use this sometimes right inside my garage door. I don't need one of these things melting and then having propane and gas flying all over the place. So that's the basic stand at this point. I'll fire up a burner in a second and we'll take a look. Okay, so got my propane on. I'm opening up, this used to be the control valve for the burner that I had this one hose on, but I opened this up all the way. This is a 30 psi regulator. So far I think it's going to be enough pressure to power all 3 burners at once, but I'll show you what it looks like. See, I can play with the air intake here and get a nice pretty blue flame. That's what I'm used to, and I can really dial up the power. It's hard to see out here in the sunlight, but it looks pretty good. And if I start the second one, with the second one burning, I don't get any loss of power on the first one. So I think that 30 psi regulator is going to work just fine. We'll see what happens when I fire up the third one, when I get that all plumbed in. But there she is, burning strong, burning good. I have to say, I'm pretty happy with the fact that on the first try, all the plumbing has worked out pretty good. I had to deal with a few leaks at first in the black pipe, but I just tightened the fittings down as tight as I can go, and everything's working great. So I will post all the parts online, because I know some people are interested in that. The parts regarding going from the burner to the hose into the black pipe. I can post the parts for the black pipe, but those are pretty straightforward. But all the parts list will be in a separate post at some point, so if you're trying to figure out how to do what I did to go from here to a hard pipe application, it'll be there. So thanks for watching. Leave any comments or suggestions about the brew stand. Till next time, brew on.